Colby Parkinson from the get-go for you this offseason, jumping in? It seems like he's made quite a bit of strides.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing it, kind of all off season. Really, we've been, traveling. Went to Nashville together and trained with Russ a little bit, and he's a stud. Really smart kid, really big kid, and he's really had a great camp so far. And we're excited to see what he can do, going into his second year.
How was that tight end camp you guys did in that?
That was cool. It was a cool opportunity. Obviously, it was great to see Greg again. Was fortunate that he was able to make it, and then Kittle and his family put on quite a production, and obviously Kelsey was there as well, just dropping knowledge. So it was a really fun event. One of its kind. I don't think we've ever had that many tight ends together, ever, and just fun to meet all those guys, learn from the greats, and put a little work and have a bit of fun in Nashville. So I'll definitely be back. Tight end U, it's gonna be fun. Cheering for those guys and. Obviously not when we're playing each other, but when I'm watching highlights for sure.
Is there anything you took out of it that maybe going there in the first place you weren't expecting to? Something that came up that kind of surprised you and kind of came to memory or anything in particular?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of great players on this team, and so a lot of kind of what I learned, I've already known from guys like Bobby, KJ Wrights, Doug Baldwin's, Brandon Marshall's, those guys. I've gleaned a lot from those guys, and just to go into that setting and hear it from my own position was really cool. Just to affirm it, and then I think it was really cool, obviously to see Colby kind of take in all that information, how to take care of your body, how to prepare for game week, how to be creative running routes, and have a larger than life personality. Some of those guys, and see that you can go and do that and have a ton of fun.
The way the tight ends are used in this offense, how different could that be than what you were doing in the past?
It's awesome. I'm having a blast out here running around. I mean, it's a little bit hot for a Seattle day, but it's fun to go to work and have an opportunity to go out there and make an impact and and honestly celebrate every position. I think that's the cool part about this offense is everyone's getting used. We're in 12 personnel, we're in 13 personnel, so it's not just all the tight ends. It's the running backs getting work. It's it's DK, Tyler making plays, Freddie Swain, young guys stepping up. Everyone's being productive in this offense, and I think that's the scariest part about it. Is it's going to be really hard for the defense to shut just one guy down because everyone's just going to be so productive.
How is that? Just kind of the gelling together of the offense where you guys were made.
It's great. I mean, there's a lot of new verbiage, and that was hard for a lot of people to learn, but I think that's the cool thing about fall camp is, now we've heard it once, we've heard it twice, and now we're going through the third time here in game week, and it's just making everyone play that much faster. And, to see these young guys come out, compete, and play fast, because everyone's so talented here in this organization that once we learn the system, that there's really no stopping us. It's just kind of us going out there and executing and making plays.
We've heard a lot about more emphasis on short, intermediate, quick stuff. What's your thought on that part of the offense?
I mean, the coaches do a great job of, putting a great game plan in, and yeah, there's a couple I'd love to shout out. Austin Davis is a mastermind. Chad's is taking care of the football, and then Brad Izzik is a man underneath the curtain, kind of making sure everything goes smooth. So those are a couple names you should highlight in your articles, but. No, it's been great. I think that's the coolest part. Like I said, it's everyone being productive in those short, intermediate plays. And, when you can kind of spread the field and in 12 personnel and 13 personnel and then go fast in 11. And it's just really hard for defenses to prepare and be complex. And I'm excited to go put that into work.
The tempo aspect of it, how big a factor do you think that could be?
I mean, we've all gotten in really good shape. So that's been it's been really fun. I think that's the beauty is, we have a lot of tools, and I think it starts with the quarterback. Russ has a great command of, all the different tempos that we want to implement, and it starts with Shane play calling and it just getting in fast. And like I said, once we know what we're doing, it's going to be really hard to stop because we're just going to execute so well.
Well, when you say tools, does that mean you have more plays, more variety to which you can choose from? You guys get up there with this offense now?
I would say so. Yeah, I think. I give a lot of respect to Shoddy. He put together a great offense last year, but it is new. It's different. So there's there's new tools that I learned, and it's fun to have those out there. And Russ has new tools available, and obviously with Andy coming in, there's new O-line stuff that Solari's implementing, and so really it's going to look a lot similar. It's going to look a lot different, and it's just like how much can we add, how much can we grow, and the beauty of it is that we have a lot of smart guys, a lot of year two guys, Freddie, Colby, and then a lot of good veteran guys that are kind of taking it and implementing it into our offensive schemes.
Played with Eric Fuller in college, obviously. How have you seen him sort of adjust this year? So he's been making some plays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy for Fuller just getting an opportunity to be in Seattle. I love having all the dogs on our team, and he just keeps making plays. It's unbelievable to see this guy. He works tremendously hard. He's a true professional. He's in this building studying, does all the right things, and it shows up. We go 2 minutes, he gets 3 or 4 catches, marches down, we go score a touchdown, and he's a competitor. He makes a lot of tough catches that you wouldn't expect, and he's going to be a great receiver for us and in this league for a long time.
For the first preseason game this weekend, obviously, for some of the young guys, whether guys trying to make the team or rookies getting their first NFL experience, what's the value of preseason?
Well, I mean, I think there's no pressure, but this is essentially 2 preseasons in one. There's a lot of bubble guys that are going to be looking to put stuff on tape, and I think that's the beauty of this culture is you just go out there, compete, and be your best, right? There's no rhyme or reason to be nervous because everyone is such an elite player that you just go out there and put it on tape, and if there's not room here, there's room elsewhere. So it's a big opportunity because there wasn't preseason last year for not just the rookies, but kind of year 2 bubble guys to go and make an impact and try and find their foot in the NFL.
Will, Dwayne Brown's in the meetings and everything. Will, how noticeable it is that he's not in the huddle? Is that a big deal for the offense at the moment?
I think there's a lot of trust in Dwayne Brown, and so I'm not really noticing that. I think it's more about the guys that are playing. Really, it's an opportunity for Jamarco Jones, the Cedrics to get opportunities to showcase their talents. We know what Dwayne can do. We know what he brings to our team, and I think that's kind of what guys are more focused on is who's competing right now, who's helping us win right now, and who's going to get their shot come Saturday against the Raiders.
Anything else, guys? Thanks, Will.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.